What's up, Ease? The hell is this, man? Yeah, should we watch Spartan's video? I mean, not now, obviously, but like maybe after this, or maybe I mean, yeah, maybe it'll be pointless after this. Guess we'll see. Well, I mean, like his video. I didn't watch his video, but wasn't his video like more or less a play-by-play of like what he did on the PC side, like the technical side? Like that was more like a technical breakdown. I assume this is going to be more of a chance for like Q&A and like, I don't know. Maybe get a little of the community's questions in there. We'll see. I assume they have a plan though, otherwise they probably wouldn't do this whole thing, right? I don't know. Why do you need any of this? But I'm gonna watch it since it's there. I don't know. I didn't do the thing. I'm just here. I just fucking work here.
Hello and welcome, everyone.
All right, lock in.
Joined with me is Spartan, and well, a lot of news in the HCS. Just this last weekend with HCS London.
Lock in.
Obviously, with what happened with Complexity and Spartan. I mean, you were the center point of all that. We just got a new statement that came out from Complexity announcing that HCS has in fact banned you for the remainder of the HCS season for all online tournaments in LAN tournaments. And that
yeah, maybe we'll get some
different
perspectives though. I'd like to.
So far, you've released your statement. Complexity has released their statement, and I just want to kind of go through with you and let you have the opportunity to kind of shed your perspective on it, and kind of get the facts out and have a discussion. Right, I think that's really what the community needs right now. So first of all, welcome, and I just want to let you have just a couple minutes for you to lay out the floor and just give me your general thoughts on what's happened this last weekend.
Well, I mean, first thing I'm going to say is that I want to preface everything I'm about to say, any context, anything at all, does not excuse anything that I did. I made a mistake. It's 100% on me, nobody else. I don't want anyone else even attempting to take accountability for me. I'm a grown-ass man. I can do that myself. And I made a mistake. It was me. I got my team DQ'd. I was the sole reason. My teammates had no idea that I did anything against the rules. And I just want that to be known. So that being said, yeah, I mean, it has been definitely, it's been hard for everyone involved. It's been hard for my teammates.
See, I
screwed them.
I kind of understand it both ways.
It's been hard for Complexity because I screwed them out of a major performance.
The full year is tough.
And
a lot of people have been very quick to point out the Royal 2 comparison, which it might not be the same scenario, but it is at least a similar
one. It was brainless. I literally didn't use my brain. I think I've been talking to a lot of other players and getting their perspective.
It was also a ban
because
so
I'm
obviously,
to,
and it was recent. It was also an infinite, so obviously people are gonna be talking about it. But
and perspectives on the situation as I can to understand and be on the same page.
Yes, I don't know, but also, so I saw a tweet from Adam Apicella
to Zane Dead Zone, and I think he put it best
Yo, what's up, Takiga? I saw a tweet from Adam Apicella where he essentially... Let me pull it up, actually.
Absolutely. You're a dumbass.
Where he was like, you gotta...
I don't think you had any malicious intent. I think your only thought was...
let me pull it up so I don't get it fucking wrong.
Bad. I want
he essentially said, like,
good.
this opens Pandora's box and you gotta crack down on this kind of shit.
That's pretty much it. That's...
Not saying I agree with it, I'm just...
And for that, like...
I mean, there's definitely a different side from the tournament organizer in the...
I didn't use it. That's
sort of position.
Right, and I appreciate, like, I think everyone's appreciated your statement that you made on Twitter, and it felt like a statement where you own up to, like, this was your
he
mistake,
said altering
right?
the field of play is never
Also at the same
acceptable.
time, I feel like
The
there's a lot of
objective playing field was set by the tournament
around the
organizer. There is
situation
no
that we can
flexibility
go
in this, in
into
my eyes. Outside of
start
throwing
to
matches,
explore
this is
about
up there
how we got
with top-line
to this point.
infractions, in my opinion, and it
I wanna
opens
start
Pandora's
with
box.
The practice, right? Over on Media Day, you guys were there. Can you kind of walk me through what the game was feeling
And then
like,
he actually
why
goes
you
on in the
made
replies to talk
decision
about Royal too. But I mean, yeah, whatever. We're gonna lock in on the interview.
Windows and to basically change the game state on that computer.
Yeah, so we got there. Obviously, we traveled early. We got there on like Tuesday, but we got to the actual.
I don't know this. I don't know the
got
specifics of either
the
situation. I'm
the
only
hotel was connected to the venue. We
reading what I can see
there,
from Twitter.
But on Thursday, we went into the actual venue to do our media, like where they shoot the videos and all that of like our team and the players, and then our photos. And after that, so our media was like 10:30 in the morning, and I think we finished by like 11:15. And
I just put the chat on screen, and then they put the chat on screen.
Brought us up to a warm-up room, which had two setups in it.
Did
so
Royal
for 2 teams,
bro? Didn't Royal 2 cheat in the online qualifier though?
Or all of our SSDs,
like, didn't he geofilter in?
And we set up
like an online tournament
like
as well. Wasn't it not just scrims?
Later, ITB came in, and we had a scrim planned against them.
I thought that was the case.
So
because it was like in an unofficial HCS competition, I thought.
Then we end up scrimming. I can't remember.
I can't even remember.
It was
this was
almost
years
a
ago.
full scrim. I think maybe like 11 or 12 games.
Are we sure?
And the entire scrim, my PC was underperforming like significantly compared to my teammates. Like, so I locked my in-game FPS to 237 because you can get screen tear if you have it unlocked and it goes over 240. So I just lock it to 237, and my frames were dropping from 237 all the way down to like 140, 150, bouncing back up and down and up and down. And this was even on maps that run good on like almost any GPU, like Aqua or like Recharge or something. It was really bad. And then there was also points during the scrim once every couple of games where my screen would legitimately freeze for like 2 to 3 seconds at a time. Like, I remember we were in the middle of a live fire game, and Huss was dead, and he was looking at my screen. My screen froze mid-gunfight.
Crownless banned from HCS for life, unfortunately.
Get Jordan with the prime 15 months. Welcome back.
And the other team packed up.
You would get banned, bro.
Cheating. It was still pretty early. It was like 3 o'clock, so we tried looking for another scrim. No other teams were available or wanted to, so Huss and Descendant both packed up, went back to the hotel, and then so I mean, then Ryan's off in the corner, just, you know, doing Ryan things, just playing ranks. And then our coach, he ended up, he asked me if I wanted to go back, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna stay here and fix my game. I'm gonna reinstall Windows, like, and like I said, no blame, like he didn't even process like what that meant. He has nothing to do with it. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. So, yeah, at that point, I reinstalled Windows. I downloaded the chipset and the GPU drivers. I downloaded Steam, downloaded Halo, and downloaded MSI Afterburner.
Yo, anybody who's watched Sparty's video, did he talk about all this in his video?
Like, optimize my GPU, and you know, I set all that up, and then after that, I had
also, is his shirt
by that time
Boba Fett escaping from the Sarlacc pit?
Head back to
unrelated, but that's fucking fire.
Like, warm-ups closed at like 7 p.m. or something. So at that point, I told the admin, I was like, hey,
Okay,
you can
word.
take our SSDs. We're gonna go back, and then that was pretty
Sarlacc
much
pit,
the
bruh.
end of the day.
Star Wars, bro.
Or that was pretty much
You wouldn't get it, Jordan.
all of Thursday.
Gotcha.
All words are made up, Jordan.
There, like just things that pop out at me. Doing a clean Windows install. That seems like something that I would like personally, if I was in that situation, I would have never thought to do. Right. So can you kind of walk through? Have you has that been something that's ever popped up before where you've done a clean Windows install? Is there a reason as to why you did that clean Windows install? And
I bet Jordan's seen it. He just
having
Star Wars
that
hater.
clean Windows install on you, because you said you brought a flash drive with you that had the clean Windows install. Is that something that you just normally keep on you, or was that did you have that because you've had this problem before and you thought of this as a solution to that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if I said it before,
Yeah,
but
so
I didn't watch Sparty's
I
video,
have
so
the
I'm
same PC
down to
here
watch. I'm
at
walking in for
home
this.
that we use at the tournaments. The only thing is different is the case, but it's the same specs. Like, it's the same motherboard, same RAM, same cooler, same processor, same GPU. Everything's the same. And if you actually go look at my YouTube video, I had to go back because in my YouTube video I was showing like what I did from start to finish, and I had to go back though, and you can see that the USB that I had, the Windows install on it was from May 11th. So it was like a couple of weeks prior to actually leaving. I had when I was packing for London, and like I was coming in here grabbing like my controller, my earbuds, like everything I needed, the USB was on the desk, and I just I don't know, I just threw it in my backpack. Obviously now it's pretty fucking stupid. But in my mind, like I said, in my mind it was like, well, I mean, the PCs at tournaments usually have issues, so if anything goes wrong, I can probably fix it. Like that was kind of like my thought process behind it, which, like I said, really fucking dumb. I should have just talked to an admin. It's really all it comes down to. And yeah, I mean, there's really, like I said, there's no excuse for it. I don't want anybody to, I'm not trying to, everybody hold me accountable. I'm holding myself accountable. I don't want, like, I hope people don't think I'm trying to like garner sympathy or something.
I mean, this is no fun for anybody, man.
What I do not want to do. I would hope that any other player, if they were to do the same thing, are held to the same standard.
Right. So
I mean, fuck, dude.
I want to move forward to the next day, right? And this is where sort of the big issue comes up. You did all this, you put on the SSD, the admins come and check for the white noise program, something new that
I don't know.
added for
I don't know
HCS
about
London,
like a year ban is tough,
and
dude.
yours wasn't working.
I guess it's not a year ban, it's a ban for the rest of the year, right? So what, like,
right?
6
you told the
6
admins
months?
then and clean install. They do a swap of that SSD right away, removing the ones
they said
that
like
has those
remainder of the
programs that you've
season, right?
installed, and
So that's
everything
essentially
else, and
until
gave you one
after the
that
World
is
Championship.
theirs. Can you walk me through what you did with
really,
the new
that's
SSD before your
4
first
months,
match of
right?
the day?
Yeah,
But obviously
so
he misses out on a chance to
Friday
play at the rest of the events and a chance to play at the
afternoon,
at the World Championship.
We're in the warm-up room. We scrimmed against Native, and I scrimmed against Native on the SSD that
it's extremely
did a
tough.
clean install
Again,
on.
I don't know if I agree
And
with the length,
then
but also
they
like
brought us down to main stage. We were setting up on main stage.
I understand like if
and
he is like the
this was the first
precedent
event that
and like
they had a program for the white noise, and for
because people have to
don't know what white
understand
noise is,
that
it's like basically they
want people to
kind of
understand
sounds like one of those
that it's
old tube TVs
completely
from
not
back
acceptable
in, like, the 90s.
to
You'd
be altering
changing
equipment and
channels,
shit.
it'd be like, and it like sounds like that almost. But it's like basically to block out any
So I kind
outside
of see
noise.
both
So,
sides,
like,
but
we wear Astro
I don't know,
headsets
it's just-
that provide
it's
the white
tough.
noise, and
I
you're
don't
able
know
to
where-
use the mic to communicate. And
I don't know where I fall.
Earbuds go underneath, and they give you the game audio, and that's how you actually hear your teammates. So
I'm gonna watch the rest of this. I don't have an opinion yet.
prior to this event,
I'm gonna watch the rest of the shit first.
anytime there was like white noise issues, like if it needed to be turned on, turned off, like reduced or increased, there was like a knob or a switch or something. I don't actually know exactly what it was, but generally people like there was like an Astro Tech guy, and he would just like go to the end of
but
the
it's kind of
the desk and,
understandable.
like, kind
but
of like he'd be like turning it up, turning it down, like thumbs up, thumbs down, and then we'd do it that way. But this
I don't
event,
fucking know.
there was a program on the PC itself.
No.
And basically
they probably don't even know yet. Jordan.
They would like launch it, and then they would like log in with their
plus they have
credentials or whatever.
You probably have
and
what
they would
6
turn it on, off,
6
up,
weeks
down.
till Atlanta-ish.
So
I don't know when roster lock is.
Obviously, admins are going around to everybody's PC doing that. Admin rolls up to my PC.
You're looking on native, bro.
And
you better get
he's
to
like,
practice.
hey, I need to get past you. I'm like, yep, sure, do your thing. And then he looked like kind of confused, rightfully so. And I was like, oh, are you looking for that white noise program? It's not going to be there. I reinstalled Windows. Can you install it on the SSD for me? And he's like, no, you have to use a new one. And I was like, okay. So they took that one, they popped in another one, and then basically the only thing I did
He's
at
Ryan
that point
bro.
to that one,
greatest duo in
the
history.
one that I played phase on, was I changed the hertz from 60 to 240. I opened up AMD Adrenalin, imported one of the pre-made tuning profiles provided by HCS, and then I launched the game and we played the series.
Right. So want to put some emphasis that the program that you used on the new SSD is something that is allowed by HCS, right?
Correct.
Totally normal use.
Yeah.
So you played your new series on this SSD, and this is one point that I really want to get out there, just for your sake, is that you didn't play any competitive series. There was no tournament gameplay played on the SSD that was tampered with, right?
Correct.
Right. So, and then we still totally understand where, like there's still fault, and you've owned up to that, and I just want to put a little more emphasis on that there was no unfair advantage to you or your team while you competed against FaZe before
Correct.
we came to this point.
See that
now we kind of move forward.
That makes it harder for me. That makes it weird.
Next match against I believe Cloud9, right?
Yes.
Because now,
admins come over
now I feel like
45-minute wait. You get pulled over.
I don't know,
by,
but you
by
can also
esports
infer
engine,
intent from
and
that. I don't know.
Admin team, they take you upstairs, and you guys have a discussion with you and your coach's Ashes, basically telling you that you've been disqualified.
Yeah.
You kind of walk through what was exactly said when you went upstairs and how that process went.
Yeah. So keep in mind the SSD that was used against FaZe, the one that didn't change anything, that was also the one that was popped in to when we were
actually somebody just said it in the chat. We might as well just fucking play on Xbox.
One, I never expected to see the other one again because of the fact that, like I said, that white noise program wasn't there. So yeah, they popped that one in for the C9 series. We sat down, we all got lobbied up, we're all ready to go, and then 40 minutes goes by or whatever, and then they brought us up, and in the meeting basically told us we are being DQ'd, and then they didn't even really have to go very far into the conversation. They started to say, we found that on this SSD, I can't remember the exact sentence, but I ended up basically interrupting. I was like, is this about me reinstalling Windows on the SSD? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I could walk you guys through the whole thing. And so I explained the issue that I had on Thursday, and then I explained, I was like, yeah, so I reinstalled Windows. I did, I downloaded Halo, Steam, Afterburner. I did this, and there was a tech guy in the room. I think this was the first event I've seen him at, because I think he was maybe UK division of esports.
What's up, Legacy?
Or something. But he was kind of the head tech crew, and he was asking me a lot of questions did you do this? Did you do this? And I was like, yep, I did this. And we bounced back and forth for a while. And then at the end of that conversation, he was like, yeah, so everything you just said was absolutely true. Everything you said is what we found when we scrubbed the SSD. And yeah, so I wasn't hiding anything. I was just basically, just telling him yeah, no, that's what I did. And yeah, so they DQ'd us and gave us that ruling, and then they ended up bringing my teammates up and kind of explaining to them the situation. And after that meeting was all concluded, I had offered the tech crew and some 343 members, I was like, hey, if you guys want me to show you exactly what I did start to finish, I'll be happy to stay behind, like, because my teammates were all going back to the hotel. I was like, I'll be happy to stay behind and show you guys exactly what I did on another SSD. And so we did that. We went to a warm-up room and they popped in another like blank default SSD, and I showed them from start to finish everything I did. I mean, if you go to that YouTube video I uploaded, it's literally like that entire process is what I showed them.
Right. And then after, you guys obviously get forfeited. No prize money, no points for the tournament for Complexity. Obviously, I mean, that's a big blow for the organization, not only for you but your teammates. Can you kind of walk me through? I mean, just like, you don't have to go too deep into it, right? But I do want to sort of get an idea of like where your thoughts were in that moment, and looking back, having to realize that your team got disqualified because of actions that you took, like kind of what that felt like for you and how you're going to move on from that.
I mean, that's a feeling that's just indescribable, because those guys they just deserved a lot more. Like I said earlier when we first started, like, I completely fucked my team. I was 1,000,000% the one and only reason we got DQ'd. And my teammates were all really understanding and really supportive, because, I mean, they didn't have to be, for sure. I think it just mainly is because they, you know, we practice together day in and day out for hours upon hours, and they just know me as a person and know that. I mean, we all agreed. They were like, yeah, you're an idiot for sure. Like, and I was like, absolutely, no, there's no denying that. But they were like, basically, we know like you didn't come from a bad place, and like for that I'm just kind of beyond grateful, because even with all that I still felt unbelievably terrible, because we just traveled across the freaking world to compete in a major, and it's like, oh yeah, you guys are being DQ'd because that dumb fuck. And it's like, well, I mean, they're not wrong. Like, it's literally on me. So I don't know. I genuinely, I don't think there's enough, like, there's words that could express how sorry I am to Ryan, Jason, Brant, and Nick, and Complexity, like the org, because all of them have been nothing short of amazing people to me.
Dude, however you feel about Sparty,
supportive throughout all of it. And
I mean, this shit sucks, dude. I might not be his fucking biggest fan either, but
I didn't.
I don't wish this shit on anybody. And obviously, like, yeah, like they're saying, like, it is his fault.
Understanding and amount of compassion that all of them showed me.
This is just no fun for anyone.
I think that's been one thing that's been great to see, is sort of the empathy that we've seen from the Halo scene. I think in these last just few hours, right? I mean, this announcement was a few hours ago. It seems as if you have a lot of support behind you for people thinking that the punishment was a little too harsh, or just kind of understanding that you made a mistake.
The support is cool,
holding you accountable for it. But
it's unfortunate. This is probably going to create a divide, and
how it's been feeling.
There's probably going to be a lot of argument and a lot of
getting sort of that support
picking a side
amid this recent decision.
Yeah.
Well, let me just add that posting a meme to like as a response to the initial ruling was also pretty fucking brain dead, but
I'll agree with that. That was poor timing.
To that is,
that was not a great look.
Also, after I tweeted that, I was immediately drafting up basically what I tweeted now. Obviously, with some details were a little different, because at the time I didn't have the confirmation that like the SSD was not mine. So like I had immediately drafted that up and I was ready to like fire, but Complexity was like, nah man, you gotta wait, you gotta let us do our thing. And with how phenomenal Complexity was and how supportive they were of me, I had to respect that. So, you know, I posted a dumb meme, which my only thought process behind that meme is like I was just kind of comparing myself to Patrick, because you know how Patrick, if you watch SpongeBob at all in your entire life, you know Patrick is just, he doesn't have, like, he's an airhead. He just does what he does, says what he says. So that was my thought process, which again, not very brilliant. And then like after HCS correcting the waypoint post, acknowledging that the SSD was theirs, then I was able to kind of get that post out there, and it's definitely been more positive than I anticipated, and I'm grateful that people are willing to hear me out and willing to try to understand while also holding me accountable, because like I said, like I'm a grown man.
After further investigation, it was later discovered that the SSD device itself was part of a separate batch owned by the administration. The unapproved software was still loaded onto the SSD as described above with the flash drive.
Because
the ownership of the SSD was never weighed into the determination of the ruling. The administrative team will be doing an audit of the existing fleet of hardware and removing any anomalous drives which are inconsistent with the rest of the SSDs to ensure this doesn't happen again.
I'm definitely grateful that,
okay, so it wasn't his...
People are...
So it wasn't
basically like
an external SSD.
People are like, "Yeah, you're an idiot."
But also, they're saying that
you made a mistake.
That weighed nothing.
Do better.
In their decision anyway.
Be better, and I agree 1,000,000%.
Right. I think that correction over on the waypoint, like, kind of a big deal. I think when people first read the HCS post about you getting disqualified and the rest of Complexity, that it sounded like you brought your own SSD and plugged it into the computer, which isn't exactly true, though. I do want to say, like, re-imaging an SSD, it can't act
it didn't say well way, it acknowledges that
I do feel like it
they acknowledge that it's not
malicious intent from you, that obviously,
because
I think, as people
initially
talk and
the implication was that he had brought an external device.
No malicious intent, or at least you shouldn't be viewed as having.
He did bring an external device, right? Because he brought a flash drive. But the initial implication was that he brought an external SSD, like his own personal SSD.
The investigation of HCS about whether it was your SSD, whether it wasn't, and
so
and
at least on the part of
sort
HCS,
it's
issue.
Yeah. So I mean, when they first told me,
it makes sense to,
because like in that meeting,
note that that's not the case.
The crew
so that people don't jump to incorrect conclusions.
That the SSD was not one of ours.
Why did he have the flash drive? I don't know. I might have missed that part of the explanation.
I was fully like, yes, you're right. I did this, or like I was like, I just outright
like maybe it had the image.
I did this, like step by step
that he wanted to boot
that's
from.
When that tech guy was like, yeah, no, everything you said is true. Like everything you said, we've confirmed. But there was a point where they were like, yeah, so we confirmed that the SSD wasn't ours, and it like took me a second.
Because the flash drive was his settings from his personal PC.
I was like, are you guys accusing me of bringing my own SSD? And they were like, well, there's no other explanation. And I just like, I don't know, that one kind of struck me the wrong way, because like, obviously, like nothing I had done is excusable, but the way that they were painting it to me was I had preemptively bought an SSD, imaged that SSD, downloaded software, and software can mean a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, software could range to anything.
It to the tournament.
That could be anything.
And then in warm-ups, I had taken the SSD that they provided, ripped the sticker off, put the sticker onto the SSD that I brought with me, and then played on it. That's what they were essentially getting at. And that was the only thing I denied, and that was the only thing I basically said.
So who was in charge of like the...
I won't be accused of
Who
that.
are the tech
like,
people
I
and the equipment people? Are these esports engine people? Or are these Halo people?
I think my biggest problem with it was just on Friday night, the post that they put out.
Who is this a breakdown on?
Put it out as if it was...
Because was HCS given the wrong information?
As if it was factual rather than an accusation.
Did they gather the wrong information?
And
That makes
they
sense.
didn't have proof of it, and then
because obviously, if HCS,
later, I get told by an admin,
this is an HCS
hey,
thing, and then they in their ruling
and found
were implying
the
that
SSD was ours.
he was bringing his own thing,
like,
and blah blah blah.
While it was a huge relief that there was actual,
and
like,
that's a worse look than if
confirmation. It was really frustrating because
if it's the other way. That makes sense.
Meanwhile, like I said, let's go back to what I said at the beginning of this. I want to preface nothing I say excuses anything I did.
Yeah, the only reason they found it is because apparently there's
they like being painted as someone who brought an SSD with
new
like,
program for white
noise.
noise.
That literally made it sound like to so many people, and I don't blame anyone for making that assumption because of the way that it was worded. But it's like, oh, that dude was walling, or that dude had aimbot, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks.
So, that's been a hard. That was a hard.
Because, like has been discussed a bunch, like altering the field of play is not acceptable. If there's like
grateful to the
stuff in place, regardless of
found that it was
all the external factors,
I kind of believe that
you having
the people who did investigate didn't have to.
Better performance, regardless, is like you are altering the field of play.
Those who did.
Right. So we've had that resolved, and
but
I think it's great that we cleared that.
Obviously, that's not on the same level.
I want to sort of move into what's happened today,
as like walling or soft aiming or fucking.
Your role at Complexity has been terminated.
Obviously,
as you can't compete for the rest of the year. And right now you're looking at a year. Well, not a year. I should say the rest of the season.
The rest of the season
from online and LAN events due to the actions taken at HCS.
Yeah, plus there's a bunch of external factors that go into this, because obviously Spartan is a pretty like controversial figure in the community. You either like a bunch of people
and what the
in the community. It seems like you either love him or hate him.
From the point that you learned to where you are now.
So it also it just makes this situation
I woke up to an email yesterday that
infinitely
was
more complex.
Like, hey, our competitive ruling is that you are barred from playing in all online tournaments, Atlanta, Salt Lake City, and Worlds. So, essentially just saying you're banned for the rest of the year. And that, like, I was expecting, like, in my head, I was expecting a potential, like, Atlanta ban. It was hard to really determine because, like, even though we played one series at London, we still got DQ'd from the whole tournament. So it's like kind of like being banned from another whole tournament.
Right.
So I was like kind of expecting like a potential Atlanta ban, maybe like a big fine of some sort. But then I woke up and saw that.
Yeah, I don't know the full history, Jordan.
Definitely, that was
but
a sucker punch to the gut for sure.
There's definitely they've had previous run-ins before.
Am going to like.
I will say, like,
there's a competitive ruling involved in any game.
I mean, like, it would make sense. It makes sense to DQ from London.
A certain amount of time to
if you got to DQ him from Atlanta, whatever.
And so my appeal, I have
the one that really hurts, like even Salt Lake, the one that really hurts is Worlds, because as a competitor and as somebody who plays Halo for a living,
like I said,
that event has the chance to be the lion's share of your income for the year,
with them
especially if you place well.
More than willing to help me. And
regardless of all the shit, I'm not talking about like
talking together. And
I'm not talking about going on a vacation or buying a car or anything. I'm talking about food on the table. Like
just see what comes of it.
That difference is hugely important.
Have hopes or expectations. I think if I did, I'd be setting myself up for disappointment, and that's not necessarily because I believe the appeal is going to go one way or another. It's just the nature of the situation, you know. I'm just trying to stay realistic.
The unfortunate part of all this shit, like, regardless, like, everything else removed, all the other context removed, like, all this could have been so easily avoided, and that's the super unfortunate part of this whole thing.
Of other pro players, especially like all the players on like the top 16 teams, and there's not a single person who hasn't essentially said, like, everybody's basically said the same thing, like, you're a dumbass and you should never do it again, but we don't like. I've been competing for 12 years, man. I've competed against all these people for so long.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, I don't think it was like a malicious, like, I don't think anybody thinks that.
They know that I wouldn't do anything.
I mean, obviously, like, the news reached the larger esports scenes. Like, I saw Call of Duty and Apex and,
I think
you know,
Zane's quote put it the
all
best,
sorts of other
game
people
feel bad, I want
tweeting their opinions, and, like, a lot of them were, like, much more
that's what was in my head, and
willing to just label him a cheater, but, like...
I'm really appreciative.
I think most people in the Halo scene are, like,
many,
definitely, like...
of my peers.
It wasn't a malicious thing, like, he wasn't trying to wall, he wasn't trying to aim lock or anything like that, but, like,
believe in me. And I think at the end of the day, no matter the outcome of the appeal,
like, it is altering the field of play. And yet, if they hadn't have caught it, he would have had a slight technical advantage.
Have all these players' perspectives and really feel like they genuinely believe and trust
however
in me
small
that
it
much.
is.
And I'm not deserving, and there's no amount of, there's no words that could express how appreciative I am of everybody. I mean, like, yeah, you guys might not have seen it, but like Tommy put out a tweet earlier, like, he didn't have to do that. And someone like Tommy, who's got such a heavily weighted voice in the community, knowing somebody like him has my back it's incredible, and I'm unbelievably fortunate.
Right.
Sorry, also I was laughing a second ago because somebody asked
a lot of information.
Somebody asked Lixel to tweet, or somebody asked him to do a stream
time to digest it
in the chat, and he said, "Hell no! You read this chat? I'm streaming
on this. We'll be back in like 5 minutes, and we'll kind of discuss what's going to happen in the future, and what your plans are to go from here on out."
Big break. Okay. Yeah, that's also cool by Lucid. Obviously, show support. He might retire. I mean, maybe, but I kind of don't think he does. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, he definitely, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, if his appeal doesn't go through, then who knows? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. He locked his frames 237. What would it matter? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that it would have mattered at all. But like, if they... I don't know, man, because if they have certain software and certain things set up and certain settings and limitations and whatever on the PCs, like, obviously you want them to be the same on everything. But, like, they might have these things in place for either performance or integrity or security or, like, or whatever. Maybe they have certain certain settings in place so that they're able to capture the gameplay or the audio for the broadcast better. So, like, I don't know. Right? But, like, I guess when we say altering the field of play, changing anything, I guess would fall under that banner, right? However small the changes might be. And also, like, because yeah, as Jordan brought up, like, if they hadn't have caught it, would he have played the entire tournament on that shit? And, like, also, if he's bringing the flash drive from home with the image of his own personal SSD, which, like, may have different settings, which, again, I know he's explaining that it didn't, but I don't know. They can, I guess they can also, like, infer intent from that. Intent to either continuously do it himself, or to also show other pros how to do it, or to do it for his teammates or whatever, and then now you've got an even bigger problem. So also, like, they're trying to crack down on the precedent, like saying like you can't alter the PCs in any way. You're not allowed to alter anything. And obviously, by them rendering as harsh of a ruling as they did, that's them saying that this is completely unacceptable and this is where we draw the line. And I also understand that side. I'm trying to talk this. I'm just trying to talk through this out loud and just say that like I kind of get it from both sides, because like it seems like I'm playing devil's advocate here, because it seems like, especially mostly in the LVT chat, they are pretty much 100% like free Sparty, he ain't do nothing wrong. Like this is a super overreaction by HCS, and like I agree. I think there is nuance to the situation. I can see both sides. But again, the thing that I just keep coming back to is that, number one, this fucking sucks. This is no fun for anybody. But also, number two, this whole thing was extremely avoidable. It just sucks. Sucks. But I will say, like, I understand where Jordan's coming from as well. Like, he's still... I don't think Spartan has had any egregious performances as far as, like, he hasn't been playing like shit for the better part of, like, 2 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's still extremely good. He's still probably one of the better players in the game. You would probably, like, before the last two events, you would have probably had him somewhere top 10, or at least in the top 15. But, like, to that point, like, obviously they had the extremely rough... Sentinels had the extremely rough Arlington event where they got top 12 or top 16. Obviously they were DQ'd at London. So he has gone from, you know, if you look at the beginning of Infinite, you know, Spartans on E United and they're placing, you know, top 2, top 3, you know, getting good placements, to now where he's got what, like double top 16s, like that sucks. And obviously there's much more context to those, like they didn't get shit on. But also, like, from the other, we also talked about this when we were talking about him getting dropped from Sentinels, is like it sucks for him that he got dropped from Sentinels, because there was a lot of discussions about like his mental health and different things. But also from Sentinels' perspective is like they got to worry about their bottom line, and like his teammates got to put food on the table, and like there's a whole lot of other factors aside from just him. And so like you can't really blame the teams, but
that was at the event.
Yeah, again, it fucking sucks. Fucking sucks. Let's lock back in though.
USB drive with a clean Windows install and all of this ready to go.
Yeah, so I have whatchamacallit here. I literally had it plugged into my PC for the YouTube video I did, but this is the same one. Basically, so I had mentioned earlier that I have a 1-to-1 PC build, like the PCs we play on at tournaments I have here, and everything is the exact same except for the case. And
interesting.
Like I said, and you can see in the YouTube video that I did,
that's smart, actually. He has the exact same build. I wonder if a bunch of pros have that,
USB,
or like if that's like a standard thing.
I created on May 11th, so some people might be under the impression that like I did it like right before, and like was like, yeah, I'm gonna, I don't know. People assume that I had some premeditated notion, and I can see that perspective, understandably. But basically, I had the USB like on my desk. I pretty much keep it on my desk at all times, because like I stream on 2 PCs, and on the AMD PC that I use for the game, I only have like Halo, Discord, like to be able to send and join off of Discord invites. And so there's nothing really on the computer. So like every couple of weeks I just do a clean install because I'm just a head case. So yeah, so when I was packing for London, it was on my desk. Like I was packing my controller, my earbuds, and like the USB was there, and I was like, ooh, you know, I'll bring it because, you know, if the game doesn't work, cool. And because like, I mean, I've literally had issues with these PCs at like almost every tournament for the last 2 years. So and while I think it was now after the facts and after hearing multiple people's perspectives, incredibly unintelligent 4 IQ move. Yeah, I wasn't thinking, dude. I just wasn't thinking, and that's no excuse. It's no excuse. I'm just, you know, I had a really, really bad moment of being brain dead.
So that's that USB drive, though. You didn't load it in anticipation for the event. It's something that you have laying around on your desk, and you do a clean install of Windows and Halo Infinite on your gaming PC, right? You have a 2 PC setup.
Yes.
One that you just play the game on, the other one that you stream on.
Yes.
And you consistently, routinely reinstall Windows and Halo Infinite on that PC?
Yeah, I routinely, literally like every 2 weeks. Like, I mean, I've even done it on stream a few times. I'll be like, I mean, it's been a while, but there's been a couple of times where I'll be streaming and like queue times are long, and I'll be like, you guys want to see some PC optimization? And then there's been a couple times where like I've brought viewers on and I've optimized their stuff, or I'll be like, yeah, let's do a clean Windows install and you guys can follow along, and I just, you know, I do it. I just do it routinely. At this point, it's so like second nature to me that everything is memorized.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously like a year and a half ago when I kind of started going down the rabbit hole of learning
just
how to do all
just
this,
a lapse in judgment.
I didn't really know. So, but I mean, I just have so much experience in doing it now that I can just do it almost blindfolded. And like I said, yeah, I'm a head case. Like, I don't know why it makes such a massive difference, but NVIDIA to AMD, like on NVIDIA GPUs, the input delay is so significantly, like, it's significantly reduced compared to AMD graphics drivers, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is. All I know is that AMD GPUs don't run the game or the game's engine well, and for some reason AMD GPUs and drivers just add,
I know Dodgers are losing. Yeah, aren't they playing the Pirates?
Input delay. So
we're seeing the clips
the
of
fastest controllers like a Gambit,
striking out Ohtani,
even like an overclocked PS4 controller, the input delay is unreal. So when I do, like, I'll do like a clean install every couple of weeks, because it almost feels like, and it's probably a head case thing, don't get me wrong, it almost just feels like the more like time goes on and like Windows updates kind of like pile on and stuff, it's like, if like the game just could like it's almost like it degrades. And so yeah, so I do it pretty routinely at home.
Right. So more of a not bringing the like in your recount of what happened, it's not bringing the flash drive with the plans of reinstalling Windows. You had it on your desk because you consistently reinstall Windows already on your gaming PC, which only has Halo Infinite on it, like you said. So it's basically a 1-to-1 recreation of what you play at the events.
103 is crazy.
Yeah.
And that it's just a bunch of circumstances that led to a bad decision from you, from your perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I think I've said it a few times at this point, like, it doesn't matter what context I provide. I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to excuse anything I did or absolve myself of it. I don't want that to be the case. I don't want anybody to, like, I'm not trying to garner any sympathy or anything. Like, I want everyone to be unbiased and blunt. You can call me a dumbass. I'm gonna agree. there's nothing you guys could say to me that I haven't said 5 inches from the mirror this last week, if I'm being honest. Like, I will always remember this as being one of the weakest moments I've ever had in, like, when it comes to just using my brain and trying to be intelligent, because it was the complete opposite. So yeah, just a horrible lapse of judgment and careless mistake.
I want to get some clarification from you, because I shouldn't say clarification, but I just want to ask you, because this is something that's a little bit unique. Like, I think this is something that's like, it's almost a circumstance where it's like only you would go to an event and do a clean Windows install, with how focused you are on like making sure the game runs as optimally as possible. Like, you've always been a big proponent of that. We've seen conversations with you on Twitter asking HCS about how you can optimize, how you can overclock, and what is allowed and what's not allowed. I just want to hear from you, is there been any other event where you've had this flash drive before, where you've done this before at any other event? Because from my perspective, right, the only reason that this was caught by the HCS was because of this new white noise machine that they have, right? And that program didn't work. Like you said before, they used a different white noise program. So is this something where, like, you've done this at previous events and it just didn't matter because the white noise machine wasn't on the PC, or is this first time case and just a horrible mistake that happened one time?
So it's the first time that I used a USB. So last event, Arlington, where I mean, dude, I played fucking horrible. I was literally having a stroke. At that tournament, I did the same thing, but the method was different. And I also
interesting.
So like when I did it, it was like, I want to say it was Thursday night. After our scrims, I had an admin come in and I explained, I was like, hey, I'm gonna fiddle with my SSD. Would you mind typing in the admin password? And so you can go onto Windows and you can go into like this. If you go into the search bar, you can type like reset this PC. It'll bring you up to like Windows recovery, and then you do that, and they typed in the admin password for me. And I don't really think this admin actually like kind of knew or understood what I was doing. So and plus, like, the admins, they run around, man. They run around, they do a lot. So I don't want this admin like catching any heat, because I just don't really think he understood. But he typed in the password, and then I reset Windows that way, and then I had done the same thing. I had downloaded the GPU and the chipset drivers, Steam, Halo, and Afterburner. And so I think like that was part of the reason why I like didn't think of it. I was like, it's like I kind of did it before, but it like obviously just, I mean, any way you twist it, it's wrong. So
right. And I think like now you realize that sometimes it just takes that big mistake to be realized, and then like I think what you've learned from there, I think, is the big thing to take away, right? Is that like
absolutely.
And it's like we know what the punishment is. There's definitely been a lot of outcry from fellow pro players and competitors saying that they didn't think the year-long ban was justified, but there are still punishments that are needed, because at the end of the day, what you did was altering the game state that no one else did. And, you know, it might take a change of perspective to realize that, but you've been very clear here today. And I want to make sure that everyone knows that you've been very clear, that now you understand what you did was wrong. And sometimes it just takes a different perspective to realize.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. Like, I think this is probably going to be the 4th or 5th time I said it, but anything that I've said, anything we've talked about, it does not excuse the fact that I broke a rule. And I, you know, like, a precedent has to be set, and I fully understand that. A lot of players have told me, like, I've talked to so many pro players. I think like upwards of 40 or 50 people had private conversations with them, all from like the top 16 teams, and I told them, I was like, give me your unfiltered, unbiased opinion, like, and a lot of them have just said, like, you know, you deserve to be fined, you deserve to be banned from Atlanta, but that, you know, the whole season is really harsh, and I just appreciate everyone's honesty, because that, you know, that's what I was getting at. And
I mean, they both of them, Spartan and Tools, basically just said
and
what we've been saying the whole time.
I don't think there's a bone in my body that disagrees.
Big thing for takeaways for me is that wasn't malicious, it was wrong. We've moved past that. I want to move to what's going to happen in the future, right? You said you're going to appeal. You talked about that process. You said that Complexity is helping you with that.
Say that one more time. Yeah, it cut out for me.
You said you're going through an appeal process, and you said that Complexity is helping you with that appeal process. Right now.
So I mean, I have my own attorney that, I mean, we've been working together for years, and he's helping me draft an appeal, and Complexity is going to, you know, when I receive the draft, Complexity is going to sit with me and, you know, see if they feel like anything should be added or removed, and like, they don't have to do that. Like I've said before, they are amazing people, and how supportive they've been of everything.
That's cool, because the way I understand it, like, he's already been terminated from his contract, right? So like, he has no ties to Complexity whatsoever anymore.
But yeah, so, you know,
that's essentially them just doing him a solid, right?
Probably by tomorrow night, and, you know, just take it from there, see where it goes. But regardless of the outcome, I have put way too much time into not just this game, but the entire franchise. I've been playing since the very beginning. I was 7 when Halo 1 came out.
I don't think he quits.
I've dedicated so much of my time and my being into this game and into this, like, competitive scene and into the community that, you know, I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be streaming. I'm sure everybody's gonna come in, and, you know, there'll be the few that don't like me, to, you know, label me a cheater, and, you know, that's perfectly okay. But I think there'll be a lot of fun stuff where people are gonna play into it, and, you know, there'll be memes and funny content and just making light of the situation. And I'm just gonna keep making the content, and, you know, potentially start coaching one-on-one again, like I used to, and just, you know, just take it from there. Just try to use every day to be better.
That's good to hear.
You know, I just display that.
Right. You're banned from HCS competition right now as it stands. Appeal withstanding. You're not banned from all competitions. I was kind of curious, because you are the professional player that plays in Collegiate Halo underneath that Fisher roster. Has anything with any of your other competitions been affected by this decision thus far?
I don't believe so, but honestly, I'm not sure. My mental health has not been the greatest, so I have not been very responsive to a lot of people. So I definitely need to get kind of on top of it and kind of see those kinds of things, like talk to my college team and see, am I good? I you know, I don't really know. There's a lot that I need to catch up on, and just kind of take it one day at a time.
Absolutely. I think I speak for everyone when I say, like, get yourself right. You know, I know this has been a really stressful time, a lot of ups, a lot of downs that's happened for you personally in these last 6 months. And obviously this is, I think, as low as it's been for you. So first of all, like, if you ever need help, like, we got you. You know, I said the Halo community's got you. I'd love to see you start streaming again. You said you're going to be back on hopefully back on Metafy doing one-on-one sessions. I'd like to see you, not leave the Halo space. And I just want to say thank you for coming on, speaking with me. I want to give you just one last opportunity to say anything that you feel like you haven't been able to say, or that you want to give as a message to the Halo community as we close up this interview.
Yeah, man, I want to thank you guys for having me on and giving kind of like an open floor and platform for me to kind of be able to give
this is good too, like,
to people where, a lot of gaps might have been filled with all of this.
Yeah,
and for
100%.
that, I'm really grateful.
Bring everybody up to speed. Let's get the full.
I've been grateful.
Let's get the full
to you guys
picture of the
since day one,
situation.
because the amount of
Because like it's worse if
just
just nobody says anything and then it's just, oh, he got banned for potentially doing like a cheatery thing, and then everybody just calls him a cheater forever and ever.
Keep doing what you guys are doing, and
people jump to their own
You guys always have me in your corner. There's nothing you guys deserve the best. And
shout out LVT for. I mean, LVT is always about it.
My teammates, I'm not on the team anymore, but my teammates, that I hope you guys know that I am incredibly sorry for being the sole reason you got screwed out of playing a tournament. I'm sorry to Complexity for.
I mean, people are gonna call him a cheater regardless.
And kind of giving them a PR nightmare, with how amazing they are and how.
But obviously, if left unchecked, it probably would have been worse.
I cannot express like how grateful I am and how phenomenal these people are. They really know what they're doing when it comes to esports, and I will quite literally never forget what these people did for me. And then to just the community as a whole, I fucking let you guys down. I don't plan on doing it ever again. I will try harder, be smarter. I hope you guys can kind of, give me time to work on myself and be better. And last but not least, just each and every person who reached out to me privately. Even the people at the tournament. I went out on Saturday and I got to speak to so many amazing people and really just have genuine conversation, and they got to hear my perspective and I got to hear theirs, and it was really eye-opening. And I've given all I've got to this community and franchise for so long now that I'm not going anywhere, and I just genuinely appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Spartan, and thank you everyone that's been watching. If you want to keep up with Spartan and what is going to happen in the future, whether it be streaming, Metafy, or potentially competing in the HCS, barring how that appeal goes, you can follow him on Twitter, Twitch. We'll have those linked down in the comments below. And Spartan, one last thank you to you for coming on. That does it for our interview here today. Thank you all for watching.
Good interview. Again, shout out LVT, shout out Spartan. Yeah. Unfortunate ass situation, man. Yeah, shout out LVT for putting that stream together. All right, gang. I think I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. I've got some stuff to take care of, but I may or may not upload this as a video. We'll see. But yeah. Either way, shout out Spartan, shout out LVT. I don't know. Unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation, like I said. But yeah. We should be back, I think tomorrow with a normal stream. And we'll try to make some more progress on on the games we've been playing. But yeah, like I said, I'm probably gonna go and hop off now. I got a couple things to take care of. And oh, actually, hang on. Let me check. I think we have an HCS playdate tomorrow. I think I might have a grassroots playdate tomorrow, so we might actually be live for that tomorrow evening. So, but yeah, okay. Again, y'all have a dope rest of your night. Much love. Be safe, and I'll catch y'all right back here tomorrow. Gang, gang. Night, everybody.